Thank you, Father, for the blessing of this ability to go broadcast this on all four corners. So thank you, Father, for that, for the blessing. You know, this is an amazing time where you can talk to just about anywhere and everywhere, if you will. So you will, that's self will, but thank you, Father, for creating all things and creating this ministry so we can sup with those that are in the narrow way. So there's more of this 923 interment of American. It's not like they haven't already been doing this, but they're going to go ahead and sweep the streets. You know, what is it's illegal to be homeless. So it's against the law. What's the crime of being homeless? So here we are, the interment of Americans. Doesn't matter. I don't want to hear about a piece of paper. If you're a bootlicker and you think people should leave because they don't have a piece of paper over a piece of paper and rights. Remember, people have rights under the Constitution, whether they have citizenship in this country or not, whether within the confines of these walls, borders, whatever you want to call them. So if you have it's illegal to have a mental disability, so they can involuntary detain you, and that's already been a thing. You know, a couple, 2 or 3 family members can sign something, say they don't like you, and they can have you locked up saying you're nutty like a squirrel. You know, they're always trying to put up nuts or something just because you don't agree with them. You know, you're not in their little circus show that they play because maybe you don't do politics, or maybe you stand against the government for its tyranny, and they don't like that about you. We're seeing a lot of people jump off the train, aren't we? I don't know about a lot, but some of them are. So thank you for the blessing to know that you only lift the scales from the eyes of the bride, show them to the narrow way, and show them to the hados, to the light, to the horizo. So it's crazy, right? You're crazy, and so people don't agree with you, and now you're homeless on the streets, and they can come just sweep you off the streets like some kind of dustpan, like some kind of Elon Musk street sweeper, you know, plug in, play, little auto autonomous, self-driven, drive it right self back to the car lot. How about to the police station? Car, you don't agree, now they'll flip the script on you, you know. So this is a massive, you know, leap forward what I already told you. Now they're outright doing it by executive order. So if it's illegal to have a disability, it's a crime. We're going to throw you in involuntary detain you. And they could have already done that under the National Defense Authorization Act. November Delta Alpha Alpha. You know, like I am the Aleph or the Alpha at the beginning. So yeah, they can detain an American without cause, and definitely detain you without contacting your, you know, little white vans. Now they got ice baby. I don't think so. How about you're cold as ice? This is a contract between a civilian corporation, an enterprise that's funding this. This is not federal. This is all being done under the hat of the corporation, but under these businesses, private prisons that have already been telling you that they have a guaranteed occupancy of 80% before they're ever built. So they got a lot of commercial buildings they'd probably like to in turn put you in and fill you up, like commercial, like commerce, like Walmart. You know, work camps, millimeter wave camps, bubble camps. You're in bubble trouble because you didn't agree with their whatever. It doesn't matter. Tomorrow it could be you. So it's not only the right, but it's the duty of the people to overthrow this tyrannical government. But it's a little late for that, don't you think? So I'm not trying to stand in the way of history. I know what happens. So 8 years I was harassed by an elderly gentleman with a speech impediment. Oh, okay. What did Mexican have to do with anything? Mexican, what, like, Tijuana, Ensenada, Mexicali? What do you mean Mexican? I don't think you even know what a Mexican is. I bet you couldn't tell the difference between a Mexican and a Salvadorian or an Ecuadorian. Probably not. Probably just thinks I was because somebody's brown. There's only one race, the human race. I'm tired of these idiotic people, idiots. People don't know their ass. Ass is somebody stubborn like a mule. They have no definition in them. Can't even be learned, taught. So we're all one race, the human race. I don't see color. I don't see race. So if you're a racist, get out of here. I'm a veteran, so I don't see race. I don't care how much melanin is in a man's skin when he's in a foxhole trying to have my 6 guard my back. So can you speak anything other than translation there, Charles? He's speaking about that. Do me, baby. Somebody just dude you. Can't do this anymore. You got time to putting time out like in a corner, like well, 290s. Well, in a box. Got put in the corner of one of them. Well, never mind. Are you spinning on a box? Let's not go there, please. We will throw you out of here. He said, don't sup with vipers. So either way, I want to make sure that you do understand that these people, I don't care if they have a piece of paper, if they committed some kind of criminal act, that's different. Criminal is actually a term of counting, but hold on, there's a fly. Can't do flies. You know what a fly is? It's a maggot with wings. I don't like maggots, or I don't like MAGA idiots. How about that? Maggots. That's what you call a maggot. Freaking worm. I let the puppies in. Did you guys let a fly in when you came inside, puppy dogs? The puppy's right here hanging out with the dad. So, where'd that fly go? I can't do. All right, well, I see it. I got multiple ways to get rid of the flies. So, all right. Anyways, moving on. So, all right. I see most of you guys can't handle the truth. That's good. Thank you, Father. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Like that fly. Get them up against the wall. Get out of here, fly. All right, just have to take a pause. Oh well, we'll get it going. It's kind of my kryptonite is flies. All right, there we go. On the other side. All right, thank you, Father. I can't stand that flies, but they serve a purpose. They eat the dead flesh, the rotting corpses that need that have evacuated, or well, no birthday next year if you're one of those Christian, heathen, pagan, Satanist, or Catholics, or Protestant, or Presbyterian. If you're a Satanist, Satanists celebrate. So the celebration. Celebrate. They're on sale. Their soul is on sale. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He says, worry not who can take your flesh. Wrestle not against flesh, Paul said, but who could take your flesh and your soul. But I'm not trying to turn goats into sheep here. It's not possible. Some things cannot be changed because they're already written from the foundation. Prognosko, the Greek word, means to have foreknowledge of. So he already knew, he already chose who's going to be goats. That's the ones that go after this horn sex pistol, their crown. Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. The ones who get their crown taken from them have no crown to set at the feet. When they set that crown, remember? Redemption. What's your prize? 2 kings, 2 crowns, you tell me. Religious idiots. So they don't have the word on their hearts. He only chose just a fraction of the whole. Do it any math like algebra. If you take something from here, you have to give it back, like plotting somewhere on a graph. It's not hard. It's quite simple. It's quite elementary. It's all done by the number. Remember? Every jot, well, that's be punctuation. So you can't even change like comma, like too many commas in the safe. Well, that's money. Never mind. Talk about punctuation. It's okay. Don't try to change anybody. You can't change. You can only change. My dad told me that when I was young. That you can't only change yourself. It's not right. It's not correct. It's not even upright or right. Just try to change anybody. You can show them to the narrow way. They have to self-change on their own. So I think people come in here think I'm trying to change them. Get out of here, idiot. You don't know Jack Diddley. All you know is Diddy. Diddy baby at bath oil parties, a big bed, Hollywood. Holly like a stick, like wood. They wave it around and orchestrate you like a broadcast. They sow seeds. He said the enemy came and sowed seeds while you were sleeping. And I'm not talking about like going to bed. Who you in bed with? He said you can't serve 2 masters. Are you in some of that? Never mind, I'm not going to go there. You must like the whips and chains, that demonion, distributive fortunes, lies. That's a devil. You like some of that devil worship. You go after that Jesus in the sky, God's in the sky, sky daddy Jesus. Who's your daddy? Is he from Indiana? Oh, never mind. He's the great Cornholio, like a Husker. Never mind. Corn Huskers, that's not Indiana. See what I'm saying? All right. Idolatry. He warns of idolatry. Idolism. See what I'm saying? Probably not. It's not in them. He only wrote it on the hearts of the bride, and that's just a fraction of the whole. Uh-oh, we're doing math again. Oh, they're going to run out of here. Calculus. You got a spiritual calculator. Geometry. Are you spinning on a block? Spinning block. Well, 3rd dimension rock from the sun. Ball. How about a ball? Are you spinning on a ball? You playing with your balls? Your little ball camp? A little stick in your little flute? Like a sphere? Well, like a scroll. Remember, he said the skies will roll back like a scroll to meet him in the sky. And that's not above your head. Pride is above your head. That's to raise and rise above others, like a 2-story building. Well, I got to keep up with the Joneses, remember? Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's mind over matter. I don't mind and you don't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Father created all this time, place, space, and matter. Not gods in the sky. Where do you get that from? Who told you that? You watch too much Star Trek, Captain Kirk, right? Flying around a little tube around in the sky, huh? Oh, it's a unidentified aerial phenomenon. This phenomena. Oh my goodness. I won't go there. I was going to do some Thor from YouTube, but astronomical. You guys watch Thor news? Thor's a little out there, but that man is definitely put out some pretty silly news when it comes to this space weather, well, farce. But balls in the sky. Is your balls in the sky? Raise your balls. So, well, are they already up there? Are your ball gods? You go after a ball god? Did you have a sky daddy Jesus? Some floating Jesus in the sky Jesus? Sky Jesus, sky daddy. Is he your sky daddy? You one of them Christian idiots go after gods in the sky? Hate to break it to you there, knucklehead. Well, you want a black eye? Don't listen to me the first time, you'll have two. What's the difference between having one black eye and two? You didn't listen the first time. You want to do some math? Father is not in the sky. Stop it. You watch too much Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker. Luke, I am your father. There's only one father. He says, call no man father. Papa, Pope, that's blasphemy. See? They go after the communion. Christians, they do that same thing as Catholicism. They're Satanists. They go after their svasti. Their Apollyon, 1945, the pit ritual. The one that's locked up in the abyss, hell. Hell's not below your feet, neither is earth. Hell's the word bis, bathos or busos. That's the word in English. We'll speak some modern, I guess, right? It's watered down. We'll speak American. How about that? Bis is knowledge. 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 Hell's knowledge. Hell's not hell's no knowledge. That's what hell is. Hell's the word bis. He said, my people shall perish for lack of bis. I will throw them in the abyss. It's not a place or it's not a space. Space is not above your head. God's not in the sky. And hell's not below your feet. Neither is earth. Heaven's not above your head. You probably think everything I just said is the opposite. Well, that's what Satan does. You ever know what a cipher, you know what the satanic cipher is? Kind of like this Western nation, the Abomination Corporation, America, everything they do, turn it upside down. So just do anything. Don't matter. Try it with anything. Anything. We say we're, you think how many people did Israel or excuse me, did Iran? Because Israel bombs the living piss out. Did Iran bomb anybody before they were bombed? Right? No. So, yeah. And how come Pakistan can have nuclear weapons and America can't? Because the corporation. There's my two witnesses. America. How come Israel can? How come Israel can have nuclear weapons, but Iran can't? Because America. Right? How come Russia? Well, they got more nuclear weapons than anybody else, don't they? And Iran can't. Why is that? American? I American't, but did you know that from Pakistan? That Pakistan can have nuclear weapons, and so can America, and so can Russia, and so can Ukraine, but Iran can't. Why can't Iran have weapons of mass destruction? Saddam Hussein, he didn't have any weapons. They never did find any. We went and blew the snot out of that place. Didn't we? Remember Iraq? You guys know nothing about the desert, do you? Like Jacob, that was a man. He later was called, Father loved him. He gave him the inheritance. He called him Israel. Israel, that's the 12 tribes. Although it's a place, it's not some place in the middle of the desert now. That's an abomination. Part of this corporation. This Zionism nonsense. Jews are spiritual under this covenant, so people are idiots. This would never support a nation that goes and throws bombs. You know how far away Iran is actually? It's not like their neighbor, like, Gaza or, so somebody's got to speak up. I'm a veteran, so, well, too bad. You have to talk about war. We're a nation. That's all we do. We're the war machine. We've been at war since our inception. Don't you remember? Welcome to, remember Eisenhower, the military industrial, Pink Floyd, Roger Waters called it the war machine. I call it the American military industrial war machine. I know I serve this beast system. So somebody, he said, do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness. Rebuke them with this aletheia, this, yes, this aleth, this ox, this leader, this truth. He's the one who's upright he created these vessels of wrath to do these unrighteous things, like a bad apple that upsets the whole apple cart, right? You ever been part of the team? Like one bad apple, like a weak link in the chain. Oh, we'll get out of here. I want to talk about ladies. They're putting women in the military. They're actually not voluntary. They're drafting American women. So when I put a woman in a foxhole, all I think about is her foxhole. That's what happened to all those Ukrainian women. Now they're all dead with the American tax dollar. You want to talk about dead women? Paid for by U.S. tax dollars. People who went to work from working 9 to 5, whatever slave labor shift you were on. You paid the corporation and they sent your money to Iran and Israel and Ukraine. Grow up. No, women shouldn't be in the foxhole. Well, let's not put women in the foxhole. If they want to serve in the military, they should stay within their own borders, but not outside, and definitely not in the foxhole, because I can't think about war. If I think I'm going to die, all I'm going to be thinking about, and I'm pretty sure too, women kind of have a little bit of desire. You ever heard of the word to procreate? We're all here right now, right? Kind of have this desire, hopefully not like some kind of animal, like you just can't control yourself, like you're going to take her like some caveman and bat her over the head and take her to your foxhole. Oh, well, they already set that all up for you. There you go. So it's called genocide, brothers. It's called eugenics, but you don't understand. War is not only decides who's right, but decides who's left, but it's profitable, and it supports their eugenics program. So it does. People fighting amongst themselves, and well, if it's war, then hey, you can just keep funding the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, huh? And here we are today. What do you know? So, what am I to do? You know reality from history, or the one who's the loser gets left out. Oh, we're getting. Eh? It's not you. It's not CO2. The sun. So, 4G phone, not 5G whiz. I don't like that orange with G whiz spewing all over like mayonnaise, like samples, like being in the Navy. Well, spraying waves, like in the military, waves in the Navy, waves of orange wave, G whiz, 5G whiz all over you in your cities and your towers and your Nimrod towers. Microwave, like stick it in the microwave, like melt your mind. The next deep order is the one who condemns, separates. He's the horizo, not the scorpizzo. The scorpizzo is the false teeth. Prophet. Prophets. Go to men, teacher. You should be sure no men deceive you. That is second coming. What's that have to do with the second coming? Everything. Stick that in your little apple pipe. Eve took a bite of the apple. Right. We're talking about procreation, about Cain, about the lineage. He set up your loins girded in my service. Who you supping with, who you fornicating with, you having sex with this beast system. He called out his bride, Israel, as a whore, the mother of all idolatry, the whore who wrote silent majority. Where will you go down in history? Can you concentrate like orange juice, like vitamin? You see what I'm saying? Well, see, like Crips or Bloods. Well, Democrat or Republican? Which team are you on? Which mass murderer in chief did you vote for? Oh, we're getting crushed. That's all right. Messages, man. This is garbage. All right, we got some kind of. Hey, we got something back here. Take a second, but we got it. All right, let's see if we got all messages. Let's put the filter on. All messages. Okay, there we go. Boom. Shagalaga. Maybe your phone can blow up in your face at any time. You ready to check out of the system? You got a way out. Or are you already out of the system? What is the system? The system is American. Well, America, because you can. I kicked that can down the road, but you go ahead and, well, I don't like to kick the can, but you know what I'm saying? I don't like it, so. Part of it, so rather kick American, I can't. Well, why would I? The bowl, like a wooden bowl. I can. But remember, the bowls of wrath or cups will be poured out of the nations for the fornication of the nation with the corporation, debt slave nation, enslaved by debt, walls, invisible, naked to the eye. Remember, he said the eye is the lamp of the body. If it's filled with light, then the eye, the whole vessel, the lamp is filled with light. The whole vessel is filled with light. If the eye is filled with darkness, then the whole vessel is filled with darkness. And like oil and water, darkness and light, they don't mix, remember? They fight every night, day and night, darkness and light. Remember, the light always drowns, baptizes, overcomes the darkness. Are you the light or are you the dark? You'll know them by their fruit. Those who do not fornicate, do not sup, do not cast your pearls before swine. Do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. Dark fruit or light? Well, bad fruit, one bad apple upsets the whole apple cart. Like leaven sin, it leavens the whole lump and then it rises. Those are the laws of Father Nature, are they not? Father Nature and Father Time. Time. What time is it? Nobody knows what time it is. I live in a world where nobody knows what time it is. It's kind of a crazy time to be here, walking this rock, because time is not a number or some digital get down or some down on your wrist or on some black mirror, some numbers or some hand pointing at a number. That's not time. Time is how long does it take to grow? Time. Like repentance takes time and forgiveness takes time because you must be rebuked. Walk in repentance before you be forgiven. So you can't just ask for forgiveness and be forgiven. Who told you that? Oh, no. You went under that other Jesus, didn't you? Uh-oh, there's more than one. There's many Jesus. Holy Christ. Holy Christ. Many. More than one gospel, more than one Jesus. So, all right, we'll move forward. So I'm not sure why they're in this Hados. Well, I'm not sure because Father did it. It's not my choosing. Only thing I have is faith. Can't be sure of anything other than all things are created after his own counsel for his own pleasure. I don't know why he does what he does. I'm not supposed to count. I'm not supposed to question him. He created evil for his own pleasure. He creates evil men and evil women to do horrible and terrible, commit sins. Sin. Leaven. And then he judges them for the sin that he made them commit that sin. He judges them and then he throws them in hell for the sin that he created. That is the Father that I love so much. That's why you go after some other Jesus, some other gospel, some other worldly nonsense like America that doesn't even make one single penny. Not one more penny. Makes no more sense, not one. America, hashtag that out. Makes no sense. Like copper top batteries, these people are Energizer bunnies. They just keep going. Doesn't matter what they do to them. They just keep going. They just keep beating them, but they just keep going. Genetically modifying their food, chloridating their water, spraying their skies with bromine. Well, bromelain, how about that? They put that in your meat as well as a tenderizer. Well, put in your food. Yes, wheat, strip it, rip it, add to it, smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. downtown in the lower intestine. It's not a separated protein because you're modified gut bacteria. You have good ones and bad ones, but you're bacteria and you think everything's bad, right? How about necessary? Almost like a necessary evil. He does all these things after his own counsel and for his own pleasure, but you wouldn't know anything about that now, would you? Father 45, Isaiah and 7, I create evil, chaos, all things, he said. Remember? That really upsets these little apple carts, the bad apples. Well, the religious idiots. They go after the other Jesus that Paul wrote about, but you can't turn a goat into a sheep. Father's not in the sky. He said, call no man father. And they go after some communion, try to communicate with their dead ancestor for fortunes when there's no such thing as luck, no such thing as free will, no such thing as being saved. You can't be saved, you idiot. You have to endure to the end, to the very end, to your last breath to be saved, and you will not receive that account savings until after Shiloh redeems and the wedding, the book of life, the lamb. David declared him the Lamb of God, the lamb's book of life that makes Father the ram. Aries, the tabernacle, the place of rest. These people think time is some hand pointed at a number on a wall or in a circle. They do their circle jerk. That's pornea. Chain, they pull their own chain. Hub, self-autonomous driven. Pornea, idolatria. Latria is to serve, and ido is the eyes. Idols, things of the dirt. Anything you see, it all came from the dirt. It's going back to the dirt. Before your obituary is filled out, your job will be filled. Nobody cares about you. You will be just a moment like a flash in a pan time. Like a doorway, death, where you walk through one and one door opens, another one closes. Oh, when it closes, another one opens. Oh, where are you at in time? Are you stuck? Like some ghost? That's the word Hokadesh. There's no such thing as ghost. Stop it, child. No such thing as gods in the sky. Now you're going to tell me that alien is some kind of physical being. Alien is a word, you idiot. Take your Sky Daddy, your Skywalker, your Luke, I am your father, and your Anakin, whatever, your Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok and created big feet. Take those two big feet. There's no such thing as big feet. They're Chewbacca. Halakha, how about that? You created your own halakha. Chewbacca, halakha. We'll have to write that down. Take a note. If you were here to see that organically done right here. Chewbacca, halakha. That's what you got your own Darth Maul piece. They're black and yellow. Oh, wait, it's black and red. But anyways, remember, black. Luke, I am your father. Using the Schwartz. Use the Schwartz, Luke. Remember Spaceballs? Remember Stryker? No way, that was Airplane. Stryker. Nice beaver. Just had it stuffed. Remember she said that when she was on the ladder. But anyways, they were in the library. I don't know where you make book or what. Book. What do you mean? Bible? That's the word. Book. It wasn't written on paper, you idiot. It was a paper contract. That's what you are. Poland. Man, look at what America's done. Gotten you guys all involved in that war over there with Ukraine. I rebuke America, this country I live in. So I do so much. They've gotten all NATO and all that. They have gotten many of these Polish people killed over there in that Ukrainian war. I don't even know their own history, so nowhere in America because I want to live around the cans because I can't until I can get out of this country. I can't stand it. So I'd rather live in Poland than America. Heck yeah. It's a beautiful country. You guys ever seen Poland? Beautiful country. So, but anyways, most people in Poland don't want involved in none of that nonsense that their government gets them involved, like the American people are idiots. And there are people who don't want what the American government and the Russian and the Ukrainian and the Iranian and the, Father's bride is all from everywhere. I got brothers and sisters all over this rock in all 180 countries. It's not some place in the middle of the desert. Grow up, child. Father said all flesh, black, white, brown, red, and yellow. man and woman, Jew and Gentile, good. And I said he creates evil. In Isaiah 45:7, he takes evil. He rebukes our wicked heart that's continuously filled with wickedness, and he pulls us to his light. So it doesn't matter where we're from on this rock. It's not some place in the middle of the desert. Remember, Israel was Jacob, who he loved and gave the inheritance. That was the 12 tribes. Gad, Ham, shit. Never mind. You just got to go back. And most people don't want to study anything. So most people in America don't know anything about their own country. They don't even realize that the orgy that they celebrate, well, Christmas, the sacrament of the Mass, Catholicism, the deadly head wound that was healed in Scripture, that country was founded on that. Christopher Columbus was not he wasn't a pilgrim, he was a Puritan, and they fled the Catholic Church. The sacrament of the Mass, remember over there, Europe, remember they were killing Christians. They didn't even care if you were a Christian or not. If you were with a child, they'd unzip your belly and take your child's head and pop it in the ground like it was some kind of grape. They didn't impale you with stakes. They were savages. Remember the Romans? Remember the Inquisitions, the Catholics, the Red Cross, the red and white? Awful familiar what's going on today. Pretty Romanesque, if you ask me. So I don't do none of it. I love history, and I try to not just study the history of this country. I study as much history as I possibly can, because it's not just written in a book. It's written in the man's story that didn't get to write the story because he wasn't written in a book. That's harder to find. You got to seek, and you shall find. Ask, and you shall receive. Knock, and I will come sup. That has to do with the word, about the book, Scripture, what they call a Bible written on paper. But there are ways to do this. There are ways to find out what happened. And just because it's written in a book doesn't mean that's what happened. That's not reality. Reality falls between the lines, not left out. Shut up, loser. You get to write it because Victor gets the spoil. It's somewhere normally, and people don't ever seek that because they're biased one side. Shut up, loser, right? Or they think they're right. They don't want to hear it. So it's pretty hard to find the actual, to be able to distinguish the forest from the trees. People can't do this in this country because in America, we have a crumbling infrastructure. We're the most indebted nation. In 73, they were the largest creditor nation. Now we're the largest debtor nation. And we can't pay our debt off. And so all we do is just print more money and create more war and create more division. And that's all we do. We're the corporation and slave nation, and I served it as a veteran, and I rebuke what I did. But Father made me do that, and he made me do that so I can be the man that I am today. So I don't have regrets, and I'm not sorry for anything. I apologize, and that's all I can do. I can try to give you some kind of sincere apology and apologize for the disgusting, filthy corporation government that enslaves this corporation nation, because it's not a nation or it's not a country, it's a corporation. But they've done it over there. They've got Poland involved because we fuck with Ukraine. I apologize for my cursing. I'm a soldier, and that doesn't make it any better. But I'm filthy rags, and I'm tired with these 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. I like Vladimir Putin. I think it's all orchestrated. Mr. Gorbachev, massive change. They ripped down everything around us, and it's the governments. There's an invasive hominoid species on this rock, and it's called the government, and they're tyrannical, and it's all of them. It's every government. It's these leaders that don't lead. They're a bunch of evil, mostly white dudes, and I don't do white because people were never called white, but we'll just, for now, and you know how that works, but it doesn't matter. The Father, it's all flesh under this covenant. But if you look at some of the most evil going on this rock, it is, the Soroses and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Gates and the Trumps and the Clintons and the whatever, the Fauci, all these people who have these mass hordes of money. Many of them are, called less melanated, if you will. So the ones that turn red when you put them in the sun, like a devil, like Cain. But we won't go there, because remember, under this covenant, Father condemns. We only judge with righteous judgment. Under this covenant, we just show people to the light. It's all we're here to do, not war with each other. So anybody who supports this war in any nation that wars is an abomination nation. An abomination. Get it? Kind of like 44, Barry, the known homosexual, who ran this country twice, elected like Time Magazine's Man of the Year, like Coca-Cola, like the soda head, like BJ's, not like 50-cent pieces, like Benjamin's, but not like dead presidents, but the other ones, it's not who you know, it's who you blow. Both ways, I guess, in this nation, corporation, state, not two united, only divided. The divided corporation of America. So thank you, Father, for that. Thank you, Father, for less eyes than more eyes, because I got a bunch of morons. People don't care about their brothers and sisters. All they care about is licking the boot. The jack boot, baby. Bunch of jackals. Bunch of jackalopes. You know what that is? A bunch of horny rabbits. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids. With their horn god, Apollyon, the sun god, Jesus Christ, birthed in the middle of the winter. Hey, Horus and Isis, Jesus and Mary. There we go. See? Wow. Remember Trump? What is his dad's name? Frederick Christ Trump, and his mother Mary. Christ and Mary. Holy smokes. Most people don't know. Remember the pit? The pit will open up, the smoke will rise. I don't know what they're smoking. Probably some of them space rocks, whatever that auto flower. That's not natural cannabis. That's some other kind of, I don't know what that is. That's not cannabis. All I'll say about that. But never mind. It's throughout us, through our system, and all of us cannabinoids. But that's not natural. So I don't, unless it's organic, natural. I don't mess with it. So I don't. No such thing as man-made. If Father created all things, but how is anything better if it's made by man? That makes no sense to me. Like America, they just try to mimic bark. Like not like a dog, like roots and trees that have bark. Roots and flowers and what do you think all this pharmakia is all about? Alchemy, if you will. Snakes up a pole. They'll be fooled by sorcery, the word says. Pharmakia. You ever look at what that means? I think people are already fooled, 5 jabs. Oh, look at that. 5. Oh, shit. Holy smokes, like a mirror. Got to get back in time. So, going through the hall of mirrors, like at the circus show, maybe your carnival, a little local parade or whatever you're involved in. Your big top, like Vargas or like Vegas. How about the central nervous? We won't go there. Are you nervous? Go to church. Sup with Father. If you're scared, go to church. But not in houses made by hands. He doesn't dwell in temples or synagogues or churches or anything that's made of stone or brick or block or wood or mortar, barge or rafter. It don't matter how you build it. He doesn't dwell in a temple made by hands. He dwells within the heart of the bride. That's the truth. You don't have to like it. I'm not here to be liked. Get your likes. I don't care about likes. I'm not here to be nice. That word means to be stupid. So if you're stupid, please leave now. Please exit stage right. Like this world stage that you live on, or left. North, east, west, or south. You might want to get with the news. You don't live on a spinning block in the third dimension rock. Do you live on a block? Who lives on a block in here? Do you live on a block, on a spinning block in the third dimension rock from the sun, corkscrewing and spinning? That Hebrew word is froer. That means to warp or change or add or twist, like a candy cane pole where you lick it until it gets sharp like a sucker, almost like a knife, like at the end of a point, like the tip of the spear. Like a lollipop. Oh, how many licks does it take to get to the center little tootsie? Don't ask no questions, right? Don't add, he said. Don't twist. There you go, spinning around the pole again like some stripper throwing. Hey, somebody throw this stripper dollars. It's not money that's the root of all evil. You got any extra change, you can throw them at the stripper, right? They go around their little halo pole, like a little ring around the rosy, right? Like they wear little rose-colored glasses. They love their little world they live in. Hey, we're doing it organically, man. I don't like none of this nonsense, man-made gods in the sky. God's Father's not in the sky, you idiot. Who told you Father's in the sky? You watch man-made movies, don't you? Movies made by man. Universal Studios presents Paramount Picture. Oh, that's where you saw that, huh? You're spinning on a a ball, whatever, planet. There's no such thing as a planet. Father didn't create any planets. Where do you get the word planet from? He said, don't add a jot that's like a dot, like a period, punctuation. And now you've added a whole ball in the sky. You're an idiot. Stop. Oh, wait, hold on. You think you're living on that ball. I think they're an abomination. Remember, they're transgender Jesus. They're Jesus with breasts. Father doesn't have flesh. Remember, he birthed a flesh vessel to fill the Gentile nations, not just Jews, Aaron and Levite, but Gentiles. And Christ didn't have breasts. That's Baphomet. That's transgenderism. See why they want you to come on by so you'll give it a try? Their God is three genders, beast, man, and woman. Breast, horns, and hoof, remember? Baal worship. This is tree worship. Tree, Krampus, throw your kids in the fire. Moloch, eat your kids. And sun. Remember, the son of Satan was Tammuz. He had sex with his wife after he died. That's the son of Satan, Tammuz. He loved rabbits. Silly rabbit tricks over kids. They celebrate the New Year's in the middle of the winter. Jesus Christ birthed in the middle of the winter on December 25th. Satan, Apollyon, the sun god. The transgender Jesus. And with breasts. Their Jesus has breasts. My father doesn't have. He didn't have boobs. Booby Jesus. Their Jesus has boobies. So it says in the word, so you can't dress up as some fruitcake or loop or whatever, follow your nose. Remember? Toucan Sam, like some bird. It was a dove. So, but anyways, hey, I do what the word tells me. I can't have skin in the game. Remember? It's not about what I want. That's the Greek word porneia, idolatria, service what my eyes tell me, or idols, or things of this dirt. I have to go by what the word tells me. And he's the word. Remember, book is a Bible. It wasn't written on paper, and Moses was given the law. Remember, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It was then written on stone. But remember, this Hokadesh is now on, truth, spirit, Holy Spirit, and Aletheia is truth. Hokadesh is spirit. This undefiled word is on the hearts of the bride, and it's not a law. So under this law, we're not to change, twist, or warp, or pervert. That's the Hebrew word froward. So I don't think we're supposed to be, again, making Raggedy Ann wants to be Andy, or whatever little cotton candy little. If Raggedy Ann had a cotton crotch, would he be Andy? Or would she be Andy? See, that's vendor confusing. So that's not good for the children, and children shouldn't be involved in that either. So I would never agree with children seeing Raggedy Andy, Andy, I don't know, whatever. And Adam and Eve, and not Adam and Steve, or whatever they say, that other. So I can't, I have to go by what the word says. I have no skin in the game. I judge them with righteous judgment. That's what I do. I show them to the narrow way. It says, again, it's an abomination for a man to put on woman's clothing. So, or vice versa. So you can't start, flipping the script and taking what Father created and changing. That is the Hebrew word froward, warp, twist, change, or pervert. You can't pervert. It's one thing because like people say that I have tattoos. You can't have tattoos. Well, I'm not changing who Father made me. I'm not changing from one. They're gonna. You decide that you want to bender your whatever, and you get collagen in your lips, and you put on a chainmail purse and a pearl necklace, and You die, and you identify as this woman, and they're going to dig you up 1,000 years from now and say that's a dude. They'll be able to tell by your bone structure and your pelvic bone, for one. I mean, there's no doubt that we're separate. I'm a veteran, and we're totally differently framed and built, and we have a different structure. Not only that, but we actually have a military physical standard, which is called PT, or Papa Tango. That's your how many push-ups, how many sit-ups, how long you do your mile-and-a-half run. And there's a standard in the military to test your physical standard, and women have a completely different standard because we're not built the same. And I'm not saying women aren't strong and agile and they can squeeze out a near watermelon through a crack in the wall and leak 9 quarts of oil every month and still function properly. How the hell do they do that? That's freaking hardcore right there. So I wouldn't, don't doubt that women don't have a massive pain tolerance and they're not hardcore, but they are built completely different. So I don't want to, like I said, I'm not worried about, what offends who. I just go by what the word says. So I don't, I can't think for myself in this matter. I have to do what Father tells me. So in the matter, he tells me that this is it's an abomination. So that's what they choose to do. But we all do abominable things. We all, fall short of the word. So I just let Father separate them. I just show them to the light. That's all I can do. Put the purse down. I don't know what to tell them. That lipstick. You put lipstick on a pig and put some, high heel shoes and some fishnet stockings. I'm not going to kiss that pig. It's not pretty. I don't eat pork. So I ain't kissing that pig. It's still a pig. So it don't fool me because you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, if that makes sense. So it is what it is. It's a good question, KJ, because I know where it comes from, and it comes from Baphomet worship. It comes from 3 in 1. That's why they dropped 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes and resurrected a one world freedom tower. A 3 in 1 gender. Oh, well, God, it's 4 triangles up and 4 triangles down, like 44. The 44th regime. Barry Soetoro or Barack Obama. That was his uncle, but either way, remember his man-shell wife? Same thing. Remember what Joanne Rivers said? She ended up going to the eye doctor. She couldn't see after that, but we all saw what she was saying. So we did. We saw the floppy cock, on whatever that. Be careful that they do. They pull cat too. That's a pretty good cat. So why does this chicken have hair on it? I went to the Chinese buffet. I said, why is this chicken hair? Oh, careful. That's all kinds of people are, so they do all kinds of things. They'll pull, whatever. I've heard, remember McDonald's eat your kids. Pretty crazy what we, remember like Trumpus, throw your kids in the fire, eat your kids. Here we are again. And they got that in all countries, don't they? I'm rubbing it. Yeah, I wouldn't be stroking any of that. I would be putting any of that near my face. Actually, I wouldn't even take anybody to McDonald's. Somebody asked me to take them to McDonald's. I tell them to get the hell out of my car. I'm not putting that crap in my car. That stuff will stain my car. I'll smell it for a week. So, you know what I'm saying? That stuff, I don't care what it is. It all smells like McDonald's. If you don't used to it, if you're not, it's like a cigarette smoker. They don't smell the ashtray. They smell like an ashtray. But after you smell McDonald's, you don't eat it for, decades, or, it has a odor to it all on its own. I would never even let anybody order McDonald's in my car. I would rather them get out and never talk to them again. So, you love your kids, your grandkids. You take them to go get some of them chicken nuggets, don't you? I know I fed my damn kid that. I was not the best dad. He liked chicken nuggets, but we didn't do it for very long. I curved him with that, and we got off eating that nonsense and started eating better, and I was a meat man, so meaning I had ability for more than 10 years to sold a massive large amounts of food by volume is what I did. So I always had access to good food, but it's okay. I didn't do everything right as a dad. I made, my own mistakes, and we all do. So, but if you love your kids, you don't take them to eat those freaking disgusting, whatever that slime. It's not pink with the meat. It's the other nasty dyed chicken beaks, lips, and bungholes, guys. The whole chicken. They throw it all in there, and who else knows what gets thrown in there in the process. Look it up. What's in there? It's disgusting. All the extra additives, and that's not even chip chicken anymore, kind of like particle board. That's literally like some kind of science, Franken chicken. It's kind of some kind of, and then they put the chickens in there, do nothing but look like it lifts chicken breast, or turkey breast, not chicken. Bounce back into your trampoline. Whatever. Chicken's supposed to be grainy and stringy. Remember, even white. So I don't think you take them to get that particle chicken sawdust, whatever they filler that they put aside. It's not there. There's no even resemblance of anything, And they've got them in dino shapes and rocket shape, rocket chicken, cock rockets. Get it? Cock rockets, chicken. They probably put the roosters in there too. Get it? Cock rockets, chicken nuggets. They're shaped like a rocket. I'm not trying to be crude, but seriously, this is what we're feeding our kids, shape them like dinosaurs. Oh my goodness. Dino nuggets. So, that too, they put the whole thing in there though. Else they really do. They throw the whole thing in there, lips and beaks and feet. And like I said, careful, watch out. There goes a fingernail or whatever else they decide to throw in there. Maybe they'll grind down and bleach your kids. Bleach your kids. Not eat your kids. Bleach your kids. Like Michael Jackson's bunghole. Oh, wait, never mind. So, I didn't need to say that. That was a little crude. But yeah, anyways, bring a whole new ring and ring around the rosy, huh? But there's no way. All right, never mind. I apologize. Again, I'm just being a little lewd, crude, and tattooed at the moment, so you'll have to just pardon me for my outburst. But anyways, back to the bleached your kids, and then you'll be like your bread, they'll be bleached, and like your toilet paper, and like your coffee filters, and chloride. Chloride is a halogen, and it's what they give you on death row, like the death of you, like stop your heart, like no birthday next year. So, me too. I was I was starting to talk about ring around the rosy and pocket full of never mind. I don't know what. Keep your hands in your pockets. I don't want to stop playing pocket pool and playing with your never mind stick. All right, I got the magic stick. Remember, chicken pecker roosters. They probably put roosters in there too. The whole pecker too. I bet the beak. I'm sure they grind the beak up in there so you're getting some chicken beak, chicken pecker. So I can't help it, brothers, sisters. Can't imagine this is not how I think Father designed us to. I think we should, use all and process all these things. But don't think we're supposed to be eating the pecker. I mean, the beak or the tail, the part that goes over the fence last. That's all right. I eat that part. You know what part I'm talking about. It's kind of got a little fatty part to it, but that's the tail. That's the last part that goes over the fence. But the pecker, no, I don't think we should be eating the pecker. And feet, I don't think we should be eating chicken feet. Come on, we can't raise enough birds that we got to be eating the feet. I think we'd feed that to their animals. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something you feed to the dogs. The dogs love chicken feet. Oh, chicken feet, hog maw, greens, and cornbread. No, let's not eat that. That thing's walking around like a pig in its own poop all day. Don't be no chicken feet, all right? No pig feet. Not supposed to be eating the feet or well, come on. You eat whatever you want under this covenant. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him, but maybe they'll just bleach it and eat whatever you want, brothers and sisters. I don't care. Eat the tongue. You ever have lengua? Oh, amazing. You ever have lengua tacos? That's the taco that tastes back. You ever have a taco a torta, a lengua torta on bread? Oh my goodness. Oh, like talk about getting between the sheets, 2 layers of bread with some lengua, some aguacate, some oh my lechuga. Never mind. I'm gonna stop. Oh man, that one had jalapeno. Oh, yeah, I already said, oh, more aguacate, extra aguacate, por favor. So, so it is. Look at what they do to us, though. Also, that's what it is. Thank you. That's the way. Thank you. Can I put that? Can I take that from you? Can I take it from you? And they did feed their slaves better, brothers and sisters. This is nonsense, and it's just because of the ignorance of people. Also, many slave nations were fed much better, and people wanted to be sold into slavery because they would get a better meal, than they could even get in their own life. Do you understand? People, slavery, all nations have been enslaved races, if you want to call it. Only one race, remember, the human race, but every one of our cultures has been enslaved throughout one time in history. And even remember, Christ was sold for 30 pieces of silver into slavery. So it's not like slavery is, we are enslaved right now by a corporation, by the good old mighty dollar. Remember the petrodollar, gone around and enslaved all these other nations. Imagine being a country that does not, uh, not America. I was supping with Father before I came in here, and he was putting that on my heart. That imagine being outside of America and have to be under the stress of this nation, corporation, at the threat of their militaries. Remember, 180 countries. That's all of them with 1,000 military bases. People forget because they're American. They don't live under the threat of the American military industrial complex. They get to live that cush life because they do it for the cause here in America so that people could be free. Bull crap. These people are standing on the X, going inside, flattening their businesses. I mean, shutting their businesses. I mean, flattening the curve. Twice they did this, remember, and literally just ripped this nation to shreds, just destroyed the middle class, the people who employed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 20, not 105, 1,000, these big corporate slave businesses, corporations. That's what it took out. People have forgotten, and they did an excellent job. They did it twice to the people. That's why I held protests during the second time. And I'm persecuted for that. I know for sure that because I held protests against the sheriff's office, the governor, the president about their fake emergency and all this nonsense that they pulled on this nation, this slave nation corporation, and how if I took a note to the Constitution, it says, do not quit your post. Your first general order as a veteran is until you're properly relieved. I hadn't seen anybody be able to relieve me yet. And that's why I still do it to this day. Oh, you're still talking about the VidCo, Tracy? Yeah. Still talking about how they put people on an X. That's freedom. Oh, for the good of the cause. Well, I don't think people here would be standing on the X if it was free, would they? They'd have the choice, the right to choose to stand on the X, the right to choose whether they had to wear a mask or not. But no, they put this big fear campaign over everybody, and they did it not just to this nation. They did it to all nations. Everybody's waiting in scripture for a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world order. It doesn't say it one time. Not a nation, not an organic law of the land. And I'm not under the law. I'm talking about the natural law, organic, the color of law. Your organic right as a man or a woman. These rights can't be encroached. These are inalienable rights that are protected under the Constitution. And Father birthed people like me to take an oath to this. And I protect all nations from this corporation now, this enslaved nation, because of what we have done. And so I'm protecting the people outside of these borders just as much as I'm protecting the people within inside. If they want to call me a traitor or try to make me some homegrown terrorist or whatever, they can call me. They can put kind of label they want on me. But I'm not here to be labeled. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to be famous. If anything, I'm here to be infamous. And there's a difference. That means what happens after I die. What is said. Nothing while I'm here. I'm going to upset the apple cart. Might even tip the damn thing over, if you will. And that's fine with me. I'm not here to make friends with this world and be nice and be loved by this world. I'm actually here to be hated. And that's what they hated Christ. They enslaved him and imprisoned and hung him and stuck him with the sword and striped him and ripped his beard out and crowned him and stretched him so he couldn't even breathe. And if you don't feel like that, then you're probably not Christ-like, to be honest with you. And who's honest? But to be in the Word, to be closest to the truth. If you're not being condemned and crucified spiritually, emotionally, mentally, feeling sorrows, the weight of the world, then you're not like Christ. You are some other Jesus. You are some other Christ. He weren't of many. So there's many who are going to come in my Shem, in my name, in my Agape, in my authority, and they will be deceived. He says that. So that's between you and Father in Christ. That's not between me. I'm just here to show you to the light. So that's what he did. He brought people to this gospel. The gospel meant that you don't need a church. The gospel meant you don't need a temple. You don't need physical. And they're threatened by that. That's why they don't like this channel, because they want you to go to churches. They want you to go to temples. They want you to go to synagogues. They want you to put your money in a basket. I told you your tithe here is time. And you guys that come back, and brothers and sisters that spend a ton, your treasure awaits you, okay? And your gain is not to care about the world, but that's what I'm saying. You're not doing worldly things. You come back to iron sharpens iron. And you have to filter off my nonsense, my filthy potty mouth, my cursing. But other than that, hopefully the gospel still rings true in here. And that's what this ministry is about. It's not about being loved and caring what others think. We care about what the word says, and that's what Father wants us to do. Be in the world, but be not of it. Cut it off, Paul said. Circumcise the outer man. And that's this traditions of men, these unlawful corporate laws and these unlawful. Christ would have gone to jail over this corporation, slave nation. They would have definitely did exactly what they did to him today. So I don't care what they do to my body. And it sucks my son and my daughter have to suffer, but Father will redeem them. Father will pour out a just measure. Whoever wronged Elijah, he will right that. If he had to suffer, he will heal their pain. Healed, sozo, picked up, carried from, be lifted from beginning point to an ending point, healed. Remember, he will make all this crookedness, he will straighten this all out. But not until we die, not until after we die, actually. So we better start doing this now and getting used to what that's like. Death to self, brothers and sisters. Self is porneia, die daily to this flesh. The outer man, the outer woman, cut it off. These laws of men, traditions, women of men. Jezebel, the whore that rode the beast. He divorced his bride Israel for already doing these same things that we're doing again today. These synagogues, going after these gods in the sky. It's very Romanesque. So don't go after these traditions. Go after the word. Father is the word. He's not some God in the sky. He is the word. He's the word. If you love the word, then you're going to sup with the word. There's nothing else that's more important than this word. And so you can sup with it one day at a time. It's like a long relationship that you have with Father, not a religion. And I know I don't mean to like tempt you ladies, and I'm not being tempting you like a test, but it's a long test. And some of the ladies like that. They like a long night of romance and love. And I don't mean like in a physical way, but you feel like you're special and you're set apart. Like I did this just for you. You are my bride. This shows you how much I love you. And I'm willing to make all these sacrifices for you. And I will wait. And it'll be a long time. Remember, like a bride would tarry. You know what the word tarry means? That there's a period of time that the bride would wait from the bride and the bridegroom, and they would separate, and the bridegroom would prepare that place. I love that. That's what he said he would do. He said he would leave this place, and he would go to where his Father's house was at to prepare that place for his bride. And he would come back and redeem his bride, and their names would be called out at that wedding, Feast of the Lambs. So that's what we're supposed to do. He said he would tarry. So that's what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to be patiently girded our loins in his service, Maranatha, until he returns. And we may die today, and he might not come back for another 1,000 years, brothers and sisters. So what? We'll lay there in rest. You're not going to hell or heaven when you die. There's been no judgment. Seventh shofar, ram's horn. We haven't received our final judgment where we put in the kiln, the fire to receive if we have any impurities in us, if we'll break under pressure, any air or any impurities. That's why he beats us, because he loves us. That's why he beats you so much, because he doesn't want to have any of this, and he's making a masterpiece. Remember that it's like a curio cabinet full of the most beautiful pottery that he's making. That is his setting, that we are going to be set and down, is what the word tells us. That's why I constantly repeat that to you. You cannot do these things of these traditions of men. This is what the world wants you to do. And when you don't do it, you suffer, and then you're crucified and you're set apart. But that's why he made you to be that person, because he, again, it seems too much to bear. Like you can't breathe. Well, that's what they did to him. And if you die, not physically, what I'm saying, and you will someday, we all succumb to our last breath, but what we strive, what our loins are girded, what our prize is afterlife. Although we get to enjoy the, if we have kids and and a husband or a wife or a boyfriend, we do have the beautiful, look at this beautiful world we live in. It's so beautiful. If you turn on the television and see the horrible things that are going on and you just go hang out in nature, this is the most beautiful place ever. It's a freaking paradise, but you can't deal with. But see, we still have to keep this skin in the game, brothers, sisters. Wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. So eventually you're going to have to get to the point where you don't partake in this anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't partake in this and you separate your life and you make your own paradise. The kingdom of heaven is within, brothers, sisters. That's the biggest threat. You create your own, not create, you make. Father creates, you make your own place and space in this time. And Father does it, but you can create your own paradise, your own heaven on earth. You're supposed to be living like that. Who rules you? Are you ruled by the earth or are you ruled by the heavens? The heavens rule this earth. Yes, they do. That's what the heavens are. So are you ruled? Who's your master? You can't serve two masters. Can't serve mammon, these traditions of men, and the Most High. So you have to separate yourself from that. And that's who you serve. And if you suffer because of that, your treasure awaits, brothers, sisters. Your treasure awaits you. You might not ever get it in this lifetime. And you have to put your savings account, sozo, after you die. And that's what awaits us. He is the prize. I hope you understand. All this stuff's going to go away. It's going to flee. Everything you ever touched, and even your kids, that beautiful ring or that beautiful suit or whatever you had, your car, it will all go back to the dirt. It'll turn back to dirt. All of it will. But your spirit, your Hokadesh, this person that you are, this person you're going to be after this flesh, is not any of that. And that's what he wants you to get back to. That's why he wants you to die to flesh daily. Spiritual death. Okay. So we have to remember, we create our, nothing. We don't create anything. Father, we make our opportunities in this rock. You can sit down all day and not do anything, but that's not going to get you in Father's, you have to actually be girded in his service. So he demands, he commands. If you love him, he said, Agape is 2 John and 6, to walk and follow in his commandments. So he commands you, get off your fourth point of contact, off your rear end, and you go share this light with others. And if you're not doing it, and I know that's why you guys come here too. So cool. Don't matter, right? That's all just a form, and ring is just a halo, Elsa. Remember? That's paganism. There's no marriage is not with a ring. Marriage was with two stakes, or right, or two pegs, and that had to be taken and put and nailed into a contract and a stake, and that was between man and woman. And he, in the book of Deuteronomy, is the one that's the tie that binds. So no worries. Even if it was a bubble gum, you just chew it up and blow some bubbles and spit it out, because Father's the one that literally, not like a piece of bubble gum that's going to make it stick temporarily. He's the one that makes it stick. Once again, he's like two laces that bind those two laces that tie them in the perfect bow, if you will. He is our present, in our presence always, and that's what keeps us bound, like those two strings that are bound and tied together. He is that distance, no matter how far the two are apart. He is that bridge that fills the gap in a marriage between two people. So distance has nothing to do with separation, even time, as much as you would think that that's not even possible. But that's how powerful Father's bridge truly is, that there is no distance that cannot be, the gap can be filled by Father. So he's the one who stands in. That's why it was like that in the book of Deuteronomy, because there was many times that a man would go off to work for very long periods of time, or war. And, that binding, that yoking, equally yoked, was very important. That's why when Ahab married Jezebel, Father divorced his bride, because Jezebel had taught these children, Ahab's children, this other agape, this Baphomet worship, this Jezebel, this Baal in the Grove. And remember, Ahab was a man of God, and he went after not Baal in the Grove, but he loved, the word, but he didn't listen to Father, and he married Jezebel. And again, that's why he doesn't want us to eat unequally yoked. We're supposed to be equally yoked. That's why we don't need to stay yoked to somebody. That's why Father made this new covenant, because under the Old Testament, it was the physical act of adultery was the only way we could unyoke from somebody. And that's why he made it under this testament of the New Testament, why he was here on this rock. He said, if you covet another man's wife, if you think about it, if you use your riches, if you use, you don't even have to do the physical act. You try to use your riches, you try to use you even think about it, that is adultery. So there doesn't even need to be the physical act. You want to be this way, they didn't commit the physical act. Well, now this is what I'm going to do. If you covet another man's wife, that is adultery. Ever anybody give you that lesson and make you understand that's what he meant? That's why when Ahab married Jezebel, he didn't marry an equally yoked woman, and God split the kingdom, because she had taught that Baphomet worship, that Baal in the Grove, to the children, and that spread like wildfire throughout the northern 10 tribes of Israel. And this was taught, and it didn't take long before they were going after all these Sumerian tribes. Remember, all this northern tribes, all these Baphomet, all these Gothic and Ostrogoths and Visigoths and Vandals, all these tribes that were going after this Baal in the Grove. Father said, I'm not going to have this. So you're not going to marry a woman who's not equally yoked. So it's very important that if you yoke with somebody, that you don't yoke with somebody that's not in the same narrow way. So, and Father decides that, remember, and that's the beautiful thing. Like, I have to tell myself that he's crafting the perfect, equally yoked bride for me, if I ever have one in my life. It's not my doing, it's by Father's will, thy kingdom come. He's my bride. So if it doesn't even happen in this lifetime, it's okay, right? No, I'm the bride, he's the bridegroom. So, but there will be a marriage. So I'll get married sooner or later. I just can't marry the things of this world. And if I find a equally yoked bride, and it will be by Father's will, not of my own. And I won't stand for anybody who's not yoked to me. I won't. I have to be a pretty unique, set apart person to be in my presence, because Father made me very different. I think people would figure it out. If anybody had been around me for a minute, they'd say, hey, that's not Pastor, that's not him. Wait a minute. All right, we'll just have to kind of work through it here for a minute. Maybe it'll clear itself up. All right, so I'll go back, try to talk about the main subject that I was talking about, this, what they're doing to the people of this nation right now. I don't care if they came here with a piece of paper. If they're not a criminal, that's this is part of this 923, 1945 enslavement of the nations, the encampment of the saints. So we're here. I mean, this is a time that they're literally interning American, people that are within the confines of this border. And right now, if you don't have some proper identification and you're walking around the streets of this corporation, this country, America, they can take you and take you out to one of these loops out into the sea, and then turn around, and then you'll be found floating ashore, handcuffed and shackled in some other country. And don't think that it can't happen to you. I don't want to hear this crap. This is not something we're more than, knee deep. We're waist deep in this right now. I don't think we were up to our neck, but we're definitely waist deep in what they're doing. This isn't something that is, they are going after homelessness. They're going after people who have a mental disability. So now it's a crime and you're going to get thrown involuntarily into some treatment facility, whether, because you have some disability. How many people are receiving some kind of disability, Social Security disability, for having a mental disability? And, and they're going to intern them because they're on the streets. So this is, that's not new. That is, again, something, involuntary detainment is something that's been around, but they literally did this through an executive order. So I don't approve of this, and I'm going to be one of the people who stands up to it and calls it out as you're being deceived. It is the corporations, it is the private prisons that are sending these ICE agents, which are basically bounty hunters, to put, it's like it doesn't matter. They don't care who they go get. They just get paid for whatever's in the box. I'd heard somebody else say that on a short blog I was listening to the other day. They said it's like Amazon. Amazon doesn't care what's in the box. They just care about getting it out and getting it delivered. And that's what we're starting to see with these ICE agents. They don't care. And they've already said if they're out there looking for criminals and you don't have your paperwork, they're going to go ahead and swoop you up too. So now, if you don't have your paperwork, well, how do you prove that you're an American citizen? What if you can't prove that? What if they are some kind of mess up? You think your driver's license is going to prove that? You better, if you go out in this country, you better have all your papers. This is Stasi Nazi Germany right now. This they just accelerated this by warp speed. Literally. If you don't have your papers, they can detain you. If they cannot figure out who you are, if you don't have ID on you, then they can detain you because they might, and they can just do whatever the hell they want with you. This is getting out of hand really quick. So first it was Mexicans, then it was Iranians because we're out bombing Iran, and now it's, ICE no, you can just be homelessness now, and they can put you in a treatment facility because you're homeless. How do you treat homelessness? What's the cure for homelessness? Because you're poor. What's the cure because you're poor? How do you cure people from being poor? You swoop them up off the streets and you do whatever they want with them. Who knows? They could be harvesting organs. They could do anything. Remember, there's people that I think it was Sudan. That plane was supposed to go to Sudan or something like that, and those people all ended up washing ashore in another country. They had like 31 people come ashore, shackled in handcuffs. What's keeping you from being one of those people? Nothing. Nothing is keeping you. You're not special. You're not out of this now. Whatever label they want to put on you, they've already done this. This isn't the first time they've done this in history. This is literally following what they did during World War II, brothers and sisters. The first people they went after were people that had a mental disability. You understand? This is how this started in World War II. They did the same thing. This is what Adolf did. This is what he did. They went after people who were poor or disabled or mentally, they went, yes, they did. So we're going down the same slippery slope again. And I'm going to be one of the person that's at least squawking, saying something about it. Going, hey, you guys, this is following the same thing that happened last time. I'm not making predictions. This is happening. This is already happening. There is no predictions to be made here. You might just be next on the list because you got blue eyes, or you don't have blue eyes. And only everybody with blue eyes. See, it could be anything, brothers, sisters. You better wake the hell up. You better help people around you too. This is not the time to turn your back on your brothers and sisters because of color or the shape or the color of their eyes or shape or how much melanin they have in their skin or less or white or black or brown or red or yellow. I don't want to hear that nonsense. This is a nation of immigrants, at least in America. So I don't want to hear it. Who know who your enemy is? Because we're a nation of immigrants. So you better figure out how to get along with these people. And I'm not talking about these people who are trying to unalive us. That's these governments that are doing this. So once again, Amazon doesn't care what's in the box. They just care about shipping it out. Does Bezos care? No, that's what these ICE agents are doing, brothers and sisters. These people are contracted. They don't care what's in the box. They're just going to put you in it and ship you out. And they're not going to care what's in the box as long as they get paid. You're not seeing this. This is going to accelerate. You'll see. I'm not going to be wrong. I haven't missed this at all. This 9/23/1945 ritual is accelerating. He just stepped up his game by saying he's going to sweep Americans off the streets because they're homeless, poor, or they have some kind of mental disability. Now they can involuntary detain you for that alone by executive order. This just increased, brothers and sisters, by 1,000,000%. So you're going to be on the list sooner or later. And if you don't stand up, we know we've heard this before. When they came for you, you ain't going to have nobody stand up for you. You're going to be one of these people they come and take because you didn't speak up soon enough. They watched people literally walk to their death during World War II into the incinerators. And here we are again. They're going to put incinerators at Alcatraz Island. This is getting out of control. They've got planes that were supposed to be flying out to Sudan. They did a circle out into the ocean, came back, and these people are now washing up ashore. Dead, brothers and sisters. What makes you any different? Why are you special? You didn't have no ID on you, and now you're going out to take a loop in the ocean. So put some shiny bracelets and shackles on you so you can take a little drink. Remember, only 2 tablespoons of water can kill you. So one of the hardest ways to go is to drown. Oh, this isn't going to happen. We're already waist deep, brothers and sisters, in this. If you don't stand up now, you're not going to get a chance to stand up. And I'm not saying to be violent. I'm telling you to use your voice. Love is patient, love is kind, it is meek, it's charitable. Go out and be charitable. Don't sit around and stand around and do nothing. The only thing it takes for evil to flourish is for good men to stand around and do nothing. Men, women under this covenant, same thing. Not same, we are equally yoked. So you're responsible too, ladies, for speaking up about this. They're going to put you in, they don't care. These people don't care what your gender is. So whether you're a child or not, they didn't care during World War II, did they? And they don't care now. And we're here again. So I'm not inciting any panic. The best thing you can do is try to figure out how to help yourself so you can help other people out. This is the time not to turn your back in time on people. This is the time to actually be charitable and try to help others and show them what is going on. And maybe they can get prepared so they don't get swooped up for being poor or on the streets. There's people who live on the streets who don't want to have a house, don't want payments. Doesn't mean they're poor, but that's what they're going to consider if they don't have a house. So if you don't pay to have a house, you don't pay to have a license, you don't pay to, you get by the threat of a gun be thrown into a cage. This is, like I said, this has gone on for a long time. Everything they do under this corporation is the complete opposite. It is. Everything they do is the complete opposite. They're not there to tax you for your best interest. They're there to line their pockets. Why do you think there's more millionaires in Congress? Look at the population's percentage of billionaires and then go into Congress and look at how many people are millionaires. These people, politicians, are not here to take care of us. They're not here to help us. They're not here to enforce these laws. They actually, again, it's the complete opposite. So, good stuff. Good stuff. I love to cut hair too. I love giving free haircuts. It's one of my favorite things. I've given hundreds of free haircuts. So I do enjoy saving people money. And I know some of the barbers and hairstylists might not like that, but nothing like giving away somebody a haircut for something like that or something. That's good stuff. I did it a lot when I was in the military. I was the barracks room barber and whatnot. So I loved And I would never take a tip ever, ever, ever. There were times I would find money lying around and I couldn't figure out why, but I later figured it out that people were just leaving me a tip because it's, just set it somewhere. And I don't know. I would figure it out. Sometimes I wouldn't find it for a month or two. Like, where did I put this money here or whatever? But it was just somebody trying to, give me. And I'm like, the whole idea is to give you a free haircut, not a tip. You can give me a tip by doing something later for me. I don't want your money. There'll be something I'll need you to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying there? Kiki, I'm like, don't give me money. I don't want money. I can get money. I need something later from you, and I don't actually have to get it back. But maybe later you can throw me a bone. I'll throw you a bone. You scratch my back, and later I'll scratch yours, or you scratch mine, and later I'll scratch. We can do that. By this haircut, and so it doesn't have to be monetary. There doesn't have to be a monetary exchange. And guys couldn't get that. They're like, no, man, that's not right. I want to give you a couple bucks. I'll still help you out anyways. But just because you help others out, I'll help you out. I'm like, yeah, but the money thing I don't want to do it for money. Actually, I don't want, the whole thing is I don't want money. I don't want to do this because I'm gaining financially. I want to do this because Father gave me the ability to cut hair. I can give a really good high and tight, I fade without, any, I can do it by hand. I can shave, cut a man's hair without any actual, I forget what they call those things, the guards or whatever those I don't need. I can use the guard to whip through things, and if you're a hair cutter, if you do hairstyling, a barber or a hairstylist, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't need guards to give a sick fade, somebody, so yeah, but I wanted to do it through, without monetary gain for me. I wasn't certified. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to cosmetology or hair. I didn't do, I was just somebody who cut my own hair for a lot of years, cut my son's, cut before, that was before I had my kid, but I just had a knack for it, right? I'm like, this is not that hard. I'm going to try it. And then the more I did it, I just got better and better. You get a feel for it. I'm like, I get a better razor and, and you got me a pair of peanut clippers. I wish I can find my peanut clippers. I don't know where they went. I think I haven't seen them in a lot of years, so they're probably gone. But, got a couple good sets of clippers and just went to work and just did it over and over again where I just can almost do it blindfolded, because I cut so many haircuts so it wasn't a big deal for me to like spend 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, because everybody's hair is a little bit different. Their cowlicks are different and they don't all grow the same way. And after you've cut somebody's hair a couple times, the way their hair grows too. And that's always, I don't mind giving somebody a haircut once I've cut their hair a couple times because I know the way their hair grows, and I learn more about how they're, especially if I'm doing like a high and tight or a fade, or something, like that, giving them, so you learn the way their hair grows. Some people, and they'll tell you normally, that's if you're a hairstylist, if you're going, so they'll tell you, hey, I got a cowlick right here, or I got, some part or something. They'll always tell you normally. I mean, some people don't know if it's on the back of their head or something, but most people know a lot of that the way their hair grows, or, and they'll tell you if they've got some weird, I found that out. People who just have pretty normal hair, they don't have a cowlick or weird cowlicks, they don't say anything. But people who do, they'll always tell you, hey, I've got a weird, or careful when you're cutting over here, or I like it this way. Or like, okay, cool, I got you. So that was what was always fun about cutting people's hair. You know what I'm saying? About having the ability to give them something that would have costed them, these was in the 90s, $10, $12 with a tip, or $15 or something. And I just do it whenever they needed. If I was there and I didn't, it didn't take me more than half an hour to cut somebody's hair, and I don't care how, and some people's hair is not easy to cut, uh, you know, it's not easy. Not everybody's hair just grows the same. Um, I don't mean to go there, but if you've never cut somebody who, a black man's hair, their hair doesn't grow like our hair. Um, it's cuttable. It's nothing different. Actually, I like cutting their hair better. In many ways, it's easier to shape a fade, and just the way their hair grows, I can give a better fade off of that, I can it's you know what I'm saying? I can give a better fade off of somebody, but if you've never cut somebody's hair, um, you know, that was black, their hair doesn't grow the same as people who are white. Obviously, they have a kinked hair, and so that's different. But I actually like cutting their hair better. It's just I don't mean it's easier to cut, but normally it doesn't take me half an hour to cut somebody's hair. It's somebody who's got 2 or 3 calyx and they're kind of weird and it's on the side or it's in a weird spot, and I want to make sure it's yes, better texture. Hair is obedient. Thank you. That's a better way. See, there's somebody who works in the industry. They can say what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Textured hair is obedient. So if it has a little kink to it, it will stand up. It will cut. It will do what it, you don't have to come back and comb it every freaking, or whatever. So thank you, Kiki. That's all I'm saying. So, but I just love doing it, and people are always, seem like they wanted to, I just had people who were just insisting on paying me. And I'm like, look, I'm not doing it for money. I won't cut your hair anymore if you try to pay me. I don't want to cut your hair for money. I want to cut it because I want to cut your hair. You need it done. People come to me and ask, and I say yes. If I didn't have the time, I wouldn't do it. I'd say no, come back tomorrow or something. But if I have the time, I'll do it. What's a haircut? It's not like I'm a hairstylist and you got super long hair, and I can cut ladies' hair too, but that's a little different animal. We're talking about a 30, a 50, 100, a plus dollar haircut, a stylist, so this just a high and tight, this just a fade. I've cut hundreds of them, thousands it seems like, so your hair is not something I haven't seen hundreds of times. So sit down, take your shirt off or whatever, here, get this piece of tissue, put it around your neck. Here, let me grab you this, and then just go right to work with them, no, and ask them whatever. What do you want? Well, where do you want your fade at? Tell me, whatever. And but I enjoyed doing it. I'm thankful that I did, and like I always cut my son's hair. I'm glad that I didn't have to pay for a barber for my son because I cut his hair, and he always had his hair was always tight. It's because I cut his hair, so I always like keeping his hair cut nice and tight. So whenever he'd grown his hair out before, I think he actually, if he's still alive right now, I think he probably still has long hair, which is so strange because I've never seen my son with long hair until he went away and grew up, and then he grew out his hair, and he has actually really nice hair right now. Yeah, they do. That's right. That's what I was trying to tell people. It's not that hard to cut people's hair because they are, most of the time, they know what they want. They know what they want. And especially if you cut somebody's hair a couple times, 2, 3 times, it's almost like a regular coming into a cafe or something. Same thing, same as last time. You want the regular, you know what I'm saying? He has a brown, his hair is brown and real thin and straight. you know, not super thick, but he has thicker hair, but his hair is really thin, like my hair was thin. When I've always shaved my head since I was 17 years old, so I very seldom ever let my hair go out. I had some wild hair when I was young, though. Definitely, I cut my hair when I was even young too. But I'm the first one to have that. I remember for Vanilla Ice, ever had that ring. I used to blow dry it straight up, and I even put a little dye in it or whatever a couple times, still frost in it or whatever, get a little speckle or whatever in it. But yeah, he has a not like a dark black, but a brown hair with thinner, thinner. His hair texture is thin, and he has a little bit thicker head of hair. So he has nice hair. Like I said, when his hair grows out, he has that. I've seen a couple pictures of him. He gets kind of that sheen, because his hair is not black. They're not going to get that satin, sheen look. But it does sometimes. You can. When I was looking at him, some of his little locks, and he's not, blonde, but they'll get that kind of highlight in his hair because it's a little thinner. So, but he has my hair 100%. He got my hair for sure. So he pretty much got everything that I am, except for my nose, and he got his mom's skin. So same looks. He looks obviously like me, but his hair is mine, and his facial. He has a very similar jaw structure and cheekbones and whatever, you know. Uh, but he's got that. I've got a big nose, and he's got a little nose, like his mom. But it's pretty neat to see him grow his hair out because he looks good. I like him with his longer hair. I just he just never expected him. It didn't take him long to grow out, and he lived away from me for years, and I do a whole lot of the Facebook things, so it didn't take him much time for his hair to grow out. And I remember when I was like, "Damn, your hair's getting long, kid," and you look like a hippie. And then then it got real long, as long as it is now. He's got pretty long hair, so I don't know where he's at. Actually, he might have shaved it. Who knows what he's doing right now? So I don't know. But I always cut his hair for him, which was always cool because it always saved me too from having to worry about taking him to the barber. There was one time that he was with his grandma, Nana, and she went and took him, got a haircut, and it was garbage. He hated it. He didn't like it. And then I went home and fixed it for him, fixed his haircut. I've had, because ladies too before asked me, and they're like, I know you don't cut ladies' hairs often, but I've seen a couple people's hair cut some ladies' hair and showed me their haircuts. And I'm like, yeah, I think I could fix that for you. Boy, that is really bad, choppy, or, just no layering, no, just like, what are you trying to do? Stair steps? And what the hell is that? Like blocking their hair or something, so I have for a few ladies that are like, I know you don't do a ton, but I know I've seen you cut a couple. Will you help me here? Because this is just a wreck. I'm like, oh, you poor thing. Who'd you like cut your hair? Well, some person said they knew where they were doing, kind of like you, but I say, don't let nobody cut your hair. You ladies go to a hairstylist. Don't let anybody just cut your hair. Okay. I can fix it for you. And if you don't like it, I'm sure they can, and I'll go slow with you. We'll show you what we're going to do and fix it for you. But don't just let anybody cut your hair. You ladies don't just, it's one thing if you're trimming your bangs or you're cutting split ends off the bottom or something. But if you're styling that hair, if you're going to change the style, there you go, Kiki. They're like, I bet ladies, I know you don't do a lot of hair, ladies. I said, well, I do understand it. And I don't mean to, but I had sent my wife through cosmetology school, and paid for all her schooling when so she went and did all that. So I got to watch and I got to see her, and she bring home all her, different whatever. So I watched, I'm observant. And so I like being able to do that too. And guys too. They get all their hair is all hammered and like, what the hell, dude? You look like a cheetah. What the hell is that? Dude, what the hell? We're gonna have to take some of that off the bottom there a little bit, we're gonna have to change a little bit here. The problem people don't realize, see, is like hair. And honestly, what I learned about hair, somebody taught me, I remember really young when I forget somebody taught me about hair. They told me it's like carving, and I made a pretty neat, I can carve things too. You know what I'm saying? Like I can take and take away, but hair is like carving a piece of horn, to make a statue or something. How does that? Well, once you take it away, it don't come back. Like bone. If I'm making a bone carving and I want to make like an eagle or something, once I take that away, it doesn't come back. So I learned that, and that really helped me a lot to cut hair a lot. It changed the way I was at the time, understood how to cut hair, because and you get better at it, and you learn the process of how to take away or how to layer, or again. So if you've ever cut hair, you would probably couldn't disagree with that it is very similar to like doing, it's not like a painting where you can put something over it and put their hair back on. If you take that hair off there, it's gone, you know? So, because I've had some people go, wow, you really do a pretty good job at hair. Well, I don't cut as fast as some people cut hair, but I make sure it's done right. And, you know, because I can't put your hair back on your head. It's just hair. It will grow back. If somebody makes a mistake, sometimes you have to tell them, well, that's a big bald spot. Or either take all the hair from there up and you're going to have a whole bald hair from here up because you got a big bald spot there. Or, you know, nice. So, but if that makes sense too, that's how I learned how to really cut hair and became so much better at cutting hair. I'm not afraid to cut their hair off, but also being careful and cautious not to take too much away. And that works really good when you start styling and do hairstylists for women's hair, not just cutting men's hair, but just take a little bit more time and just go a little slower, and because you can always go back and take a little bit more. And I like to do that, especially when I'm styling a lady's hair. I'm like, okay, and I do that with guys' hairs too. It's like, especially if they want a high fade, I'm not going to stick that thing all the way up there like a jarhead. I'm going to probably put it down a little bit further because that's what they mean. And I'll cut it not up here, and I'll cut it there. It's like, you like that? They're like, yeah, perfect. You didn't want a high and tight. You wanted a fade. See, I knew it. So I'll give them a fade before I give them a high and tight, if that makes sense too. You know, kind of same thing. So once again, once I learned that, man, I was on my way to cut, you know, do females' hair, female haircuts, because I knew I could do it, but I just never tried. I never done it. And I didn't want to screw up some lady's hair. I mean, especially ladies I like ladies that have long hair. I mean, short haircut's cool or whatever, but I like a longer hair. I think women are very beautiful with short or long, but some women don't wear short hair very well. Um, Long hair is pretty kind of universal. So, oh, nice. AFB, nice. At Langley. Cool. Oh, there you go. Well, you're cutting at Langley on a military installation. You don't do more cutting anymore than being outside of a military post or a base or a wow. Heck yeah. That'll get you some cuts. If that don't get you cuts, then nothing will. Oh, we got a message here. Oh, nice. Kevin's busting ass over there. I apologize. Kevin just sent me a picture of what he was doing over there. Boy, he's busting, you know, what over there. Doing the tile work on his place. He just sent me. He's got all the floor laid down there. It's awesome. You got the spacing on it as well, really good. All right, give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna get him. This back real quick. Finally starting to cool off a little bit. Starting to cool off a little bit. All right, it's starting to cool off a little bit out there. Finally. I'm out there today. You got pretty close to 90. So we didn't get the wind, we didn't have that breeze today, so it wasn't nearly as cool. We got some cloud cover though, which is nice. That's keeping it a little bit. Battery's all charged up, which is good. Probably make some ice before the end of the night there. I won't run my light out. Last night I ran my light out and my battery out. So, all right, cool. We're still charging. Let's see here. What do we get here? Oh, nice. Cool. All right. Hey guys, I'll probably we're not I'm gonna shut this down. I'll come back up here in a little bit and before the end of the night. I'm here about half an hour. I gotta feed my animals here and we'll get all these Silver Rock Ranch duties done out here and I'll come up and continue to talk about this whole homeless subject here in America. This is accelerating at a rapid speed, so I'm thankful that that I have this ministry here and I have a place to rest my head at night. It must be difficult to be laying on the streets now, knowing that they're going to come just put you in some kind of involuntary, confinement, detainment because you're poor. That's a crime. So please try to do something about that. Like maybe you can help somebody out. Lots of ways to help people out. So try to remember we're supposed to be charitable and we're not supposed to turn our backs on people like this. And so what's happening right now, it's breaking my heart to think that they're just taking people off the streets masked up without any identification on. And this could be anybody now, can just be swiped right off the streets. People don't see how volatile it's gotten really fast. I mean, this accelerated at breakneck speed, warp speed, if you want to call it that. But it's unfathomable at this point on where it's going to go next. And I know where it's going. You could be next on the list just because they don't like a certain thing about you. One of your family members, something you said online, the color of your skin, the shape of your eyes. It could be anything at this point. This is where it's headed. So I see it, my heart's broken because I have all this property and I can't share it with anybody, but I'm trying to do whatever I can. So I know I've tried. If Father wanted people to be here, they would be here. So he'll provide. So I think be much more successful getting down to Ecuador. I don't think I'll have any problems bringing people over to the ministry down there. I can actually be able to do that here. People just not into it, People talk about it, people think about doing it, but most people aren't willing to take that first step, that jump, if you will. And it's more just entertaining that people talk about being off grid and sounds fun. It's not fun, but it is rewarding, and it is a different lifestyle for sure. So it's something I've done for more than a decade, so I'm quite used to it, and I actually prefer to live that way. But once again, Father is the one who's in control of all things, so I can't. I'd have my issues with Father. He just not providing the people the bodies, but it's better he provides quality bodies than somebody that could have been somebody that wouldn't work out here anyway. So I just have to continue to be patient with Father and try not to make plans and let Father, just keep having faith. So it's all I have at this point to, with what I've got going for doing it for 10 years and not having a success does make you, well, I've been successful at doing it, but not having anybody join me to do it with. So a little different, but not what I had originally planned, but whatever. Some of us just keep chugging away, like I said, when I've been on YouTube for more than 10 years. So holy smokes, 6 channels, more than that, but 6 that are still up and have content on them. So it's pretty amazing how much time can slip away, but I think I'll do better down in Ecuador. But we'll see. I got to be able to get out of here to begin with. So I'm going tomorrow to go get my passport again. I don't want to be spending that money because it's couple $100 almost just for the check to the Department of State, pictures, the whole. There's another fee. Just money I just don't have right now, but I have it, but I don't want to spend it because I have land payment still that I have to pay. But I'm going to go ahead and get that my passport, so that if I can travel outside of the U.S., that I have ability to do so. I'm going to go at the first opportunity that I get. I won't wait at all. I'll just go at that point. So, but only if Father allows me to leave, because right now I can't leave, and so, but I'm trying, but I don't want to make plans. So, anyways, there's a little bit of an update. Thought I'd come in here and talk a little bit about this subject, about this homelessness, and how this is progressing quickly to this 923 ritual. So I know I'm the only one on YouTube doing it. I'm the only one on Twitter, or there's nobody on Twitter or X or even TikTok or Facebook. There's nobody else doing this 1945, 923, World War II equals World War III ritual. So with the Executive Order 11004, it's going to allow them to start not just relocating certain people off the streets, but whole communities. And it's going to come. I know it is. I see what they're doing right now. So be ready for that, because you might be in a community where they just swoop up a whole community and say, hey, you can't be here, and we're going to go put you in another area, and you're going to work for the government now. So it's happened before in this country. So I'm not making predictions for something, oh my God, never before, for the first time and ever in history. I'm telling you something that's happened before, and it's already starting to happen. So this is exactly how they did this in World War II. They started with the people who were, disabled or had some kind of mental disability, and that's how it started. And they're doing it right now. Not just that, but this is, people from anywhere. Remember, if you're not America and you don't have papers on you and you're out on the streets, brothers, sisters, you are at risk right now in this country. You see why I want to get the hell out of here before they take me on a plane and throw me out in the ocean somewhere, shackle me, and just take a loop out of the ocean? I'd rather get out of here. I'd rather live anywhere else other than America. This is not a safe country anymore. Not at all. They can come pick you up right now. They passed that executive order that says if people can't identify themselves, they can detain you. ICE can detain you. You have some Hispanic name, and they're even doing that now with people. So don't think that this isn't going to continue. It's going to progress. It's not going to go away. They're not just going to stop doing this. It's not going to stop. So you, like I said, they might not like that you have brown hair, that you got blue eyes, that you got freckles. They might not like that your mom worked for Walmart, maybe that you don't do something. It doesn't matter. They're not going to care. Amazon delivers what's in the box. They don't care what's in the box. They just make the delivery. That's what these ICE agents are doing. And they're contracted by corporations, by the private prisons. This is not happening at a federal level like people think. These people are paid mercenaries. These people are just like ISIS. This is no different. We've got an ISIS on our own frickin' streets right now. People paid to put on a suit and do whatever the hell they're told. Mercenaries. So this is not going to go away. It's just not. It's going to get worse. And they're going to start relocating not just single people at a time, but families and then whole communities. Wherever they want the resources underneath that community. You might not even know it's there. It could be a body of water. It could be precious metals. It could be yellow pancake. You know what that is. They've done this before, so don't act like it hasn't happened in the past, and they're already starting to do it again. So the best thing you can do is do not partake in their evil. Stay away from it. I'm not saying don't go outside, but it's getting risky to even go outside your own borders or your own house right now. If you don't have the proper paperwork to present that you were born an American citizen, how are you going to prove that? What if they say that driver's license is not enough? Until you can prove it, you're detained. And they're going to haul you off in some van. And they don't have to say a damn thing, because a lot of people aren't their parents of some of these children aren't getting any contact with their parents. These other people who have wives and husbands that are they're not telling them where they're taking them. Remember, I just told you there was 31 people who washed up. I forget what exactly where they'd washed up, but they washed up on a beach. These people were supposed to be going to Sudan. Some of these people that they had picked up off the streets, and they're turning up shackled and handcuffed, dead. So why are you so special? That makes you think that they won't pick you up because you got a license you can prove. That means that what if they have a disagreement with something on your license? It's not even safe to go outside the frickin' your own home right now in this country because of what they can do to you. And I'm not going to let it stop me, but I'm just saying, this is not some safe country anymore. Not at all. Did you hear what I just said? If you can't prove that I need to see your birth certificate. Well, I don't have one. Well, you're going to have to get in the van then. What the fuck? Yeah, get in the van. Get in the Suburban, getting into whatever they're doing this, brothers and sisters. This is happening on your streets, in your country, in your neighborhoods, in your cities, in your workplaces. You could just keep shutting up about it, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's happening. That's what I'm saying. There's some minerals under your property they want. You're done. You're out of there. They can even come to your home now, and I'm telling you, that's coming next. Door to door. Raids. Door to door. They're going to be doing this. And they got all your data, your metadata. Maybe you jerked off on Pornhub, and that's a sin. They got you jerking off on Pornhub. Were you playing? Did you have your hands down between your legs there, looking at your phone? Oh, I think all of us might have done that at least once. Maybe that's the deal breaker. We're going under the Noahide laws. It's a sin, and if you were on porn chain, whatever hub you were pulling on, we got your face. Whatever. See what I'm saying, brothers? That sounds stupid, but it's not. That's not. It could be something that simple. You went on this X-rated site, and now we got a picture of you palming yourself, and that's illegal, and you did it, and so now you got to get in the camp. We're going to re-educate you. We're going to castrate you, fix you, stitch you, sterilize you. This sounds like a pet, huh? Put a tattoo on you, put a number on you, throw you in a cage. Maybe somebody will adopt you out. You'll be a good boy and girl, and they'll take you because you've been neutered. And you got your little tattoo and your tracking device now, and you've been re-educated, and you're a good boy. Sit, bad dog. Stay, bad dog. Come, bad dog. Oh, wait. No, it won't happen in America. Okay, whatever, man. Whatever. You keep doing you, and I'll just keep being this crazy dude on YouTube that I've been doing this for, what, a dozen years now? So I don't get every single thing exactly right. But I'm nailing this one, man. And that's why I'm the only one on the internet doing it right now. And that's not because I'm special and there's only 8 of you in here. Look, it's not like I have some big crowd, and I don't care. If one of you hears this, like I said, from my original blogs that I've done on this thing, it's not in vain then. So, but it's definitely, you can't say it's not happening now in America. It is happening. They can take you for just about any reason, and they keep passing more and more executive orders, just making it easier and easier to intern these people, putting this 1945 interning American citizens during World War II. They already did this once. They just went after one nationality. This time they're going after everybody, brothers and sisters. This time they're not just doing one, because this time under this covenant it has to be all flesh. They know the scripture. They know what they're doing. So they're not stupid. They definitely know what they're doing. So they're not going to be nice to you. And they're not going to tell you what they're doing to you. So, as a matter of fact, they're going to tell you they're doing the opposite. And they're going to be gaslighting you. They're narcissists at the most highest level. I mean, this is the highest form of narcissism that you could ever see. And it's at a government level. You know, gaslighting their own people with feeding them frickin' poison, making them drive cars that require additives and taxing and feeing, and this is not Christ-like at all. You know what I'm saying? This is not how Christ acted. Christ would have stood up to this 100%. He would have dealt with ICE agents going around and just picking people up because they don't have pieces of paper. Now, if people are criminals, that's different. I understand that. I do understand that we've been letting people come in here for decades. Didn't care about papers. Now we're just throwing them all out of here. This is the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen. You know, I took a note to the Constitution, and the Constitution protects the right of the people. You don't have to have citizenship in this country to have rights under the Constitution. You need to grow up. Go back and study your rights. So if you're one of these people that thinks just because somebody doesn't have a piece of paper, well, you ever had a speeding ticket? It ain't no different than that. Shut up. It's a piece of paper. I'm very offended the way that people are being treated. This is not Christ-like at all. This is not Christ-like. So he wouldn't stand for this. He would speak up against this. He's not some sit-down Jesus. He's a get up off your rear end, your fourth point of contact, and speak up. Do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness. Rebuke them with light. That's all I'm doing, is shining the light on what's going on. So definitely is not something that is something new news to me. I've been warning you of this on this channel. And again, I am the only channel on all the internet right now doing this 9/23/1945 World War II equals World War III ritual. This is how it starts. Tariffs, embargo, sanction, just like World War II, strangled them, right? Pearl Harbor, Nagasaki, Hiroshima. Get ready for bombs in your neighborhood. And they'll relocate your whole community. I covered this yesterday on the live stream, where they can use a hydrogen and not an atomic and say it's been radiated when it's not, and they can relocate the whole community and put you in a work camp. They've got a place for you. Remember Alcatraz Island, Crocodile Island, Alligator Island, whatever. They put incinerators down there. There was a couple who was contracted by the government, or contacted to contract incinerators at Alcatraz Island, brothers and sisters, just like China had them running the whole time during the VidCo. But no, this isn't happening. Have you even seen anybody? You watch China Observer, there's whole cities over there that are disappearing. Literally just like ghost towns overnight. Where are all these people going? Shh. Nothing's happening here. There's nothing to see. Just be a good slave, shut up, and do what you're told. Don't say anything. Maybe you'll survive if you just be quiet. You just crawl up in a ball and you shelter in place. Be like a little bitch, like a dog, like a female dog. You know, get you on your back and you're screwed. Oh, maybe roll over, want to do it doggy style, right? No, you're like a turtle. You ain't got no kick, and you just sit there on your back and you can't do a damn thing about it. You're going to go down as the silent majority, and I'm not. This is something that you cannot avoid. They're coming for this group, but they'll be coming for you next. Nothing about you is so special. I don't care if you're rich, poor, flea bond. What does the word say? I'm going by what the word tells me, and so are they. So they're going to be allowed to do this anyways. You just don't know the scripture, what it says. So this is happening. They're rebranding this World War II into a World War III ritual. We've already seen tariffs, embargoes. So we will have our Pearl Harbor moment. I'm sure of it. They've been putting these, you know, what was that one ship they put out over there that's supposed to be decommissioned in like a year or two? It's going to get hit. They'll do just this Pearl Harbor ritual. They've even mentioned it. They mentioned it over there in Ukraine, and Musk mentioned it. You don't think that stinky muskrat doesn't know what's going on here? Like he's not in bed with warp speed? Mr., Scrooge, the guy that likes to grab her by the pussy, I've been trying to tell you the guy's a freaking absolute nightmare, and that's fine. I don't care who listens to me and who doesn't, and who hears me and who doesn't. I just have to send the message out. Father will remove the scales from the eyes of only the bride, and only those who don't have a deaf ear, he'll remove that restrainer. It won't fall on deaf ears. And I'm not doing this to incite any kind of panic whatsoever. Actually, you might be a little more settled if you knew it was coming ahead of time. You could actually get out of the way. and maybe avoid it. If you don't, oh well, at least you knew it was coming. You can at least try to get out of the way. Hey, bozo, the train's coming. Get off the tracks. No, I don't need no brains. I already got a brain. I didn't say brain. I said train, you idiot. You don't need no trains. The train's coming. Hello. Can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead a person to, hey, the train's coming, but you can't make them think. They gotta have to get off the tracks for themselves. But I'm not going to sit there and watch them get run over. That's not like me. I'm going to speak up. When a dog sees evil, he barks, correct? If that dog don't bark, that's a bad dog. So I got dogs, I don't want to say it in front of my dogs. He's a good boy. That's what a dog does. So if it sees evil and it doesn't, then that's not a good dog, correct? Dingo just looked at me. You are a good boy. You're a good boy. I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't talking about you, boy. I wasn't talking about you. All right. Let's finish it up there, guys. I'll come back maybe before the end of the night. Maybe ish. Love you, brothers, sisters. You want to support the ministry, come back again, please. And that's how you can support this ministry. Thumbs up. We're cool. Appreciate it. There's links in the description if you want to support in a monetary way, but you don't have to do that. That's not a requirement to be a part of this ministry. Makes no sense to sit there and take money from people who don't have it. So only people who would automatically wouldn't even have to ask. They just do it on their own. If they had abundance, they just support the ministry. So I'll just make a mention of the links in the the description if you have abundance. But don't give anything if you don't have money. You could just burn, throw into start fires with it. Seriously, that's the kind of abundance that I want people to have. Money they could just throw away. Seriously, I don't want anybody to give in the ministry that doesn't have abundance. This ministry is supposed to be giving, not taking. So that's what the ministry is here to do, is to give. And eventually it will. If you stay with this ministry long enough, I might be sending you some of this food that I'm talking about, this organic. So we'll see what Father has for me for the next, I don't even know. I don't even set any plans. So thy kingdom come, Father's will be done. So thy kingdom come is Shiloh returning and coming back to pick up his bride. I hope you understand. I love that scripture right there in the Lord's Prayer. Thy kingdom come. It's all about that. It's all about thy kingdom come. This is what it's all about. If you ain't figured that out right now, you better go back and read the book. Read the scriptures. Read the Lord's Prayer. That's in the Lord's Prayer. All right? All right. Much agape, Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.